next thing is the auto scaling. That
Autoscaling.
what is the next topic? Next topic is AWS auto scaling. AWS auto scaling.
Autoscaling.
So what is my auto scaling? Yes, it's AWS auto scaling monitors your applications and automatically adjusts the capacity. Automatically adjust the capacity to maintain steady and predictable performance at lowest will cost. Mean that so ఈ జియో హాట్స్టార్ తెలుసు కదా మీకు జియో హాట్స్టార్ ఐడియా ఉందా
Geo Hotstar.
హాట్స్టార్
हाँ.
ఏం వస్తుంది దాంట్లో ఐపీఎల్ వస్తుంది
అవును.
సో ఇనిషియల్గా ఐపీఎల్ ఏదైతే వస్తుందో మన నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూవర్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ అరౌండ్ ఫస్ట్ ఇనిషియల్గా 2 crores ఉంటారు అంటారు 2 crores
True course.
అది పక్కన రాసుంటారు చూడండి వ్యూవర్స్ వ్యూవింగ్ అని రాసుంటారు
అవును.
సో ఇలా 2 crores అంటే ఓవర్ ద పీరియడ్ ఆఫ్ ద టైం మ్యాచ్ జరుగుతూ ఉంటే ఇట్ మే బీ హిట్ మేబీ 60 crores కూడా హిట్ చేయొచ్చు ఏం చేయొచ్చు
60 crores.
60 crores కూడా హిట్ చేయొచ్చు సో
Pictures.
మ్యాక్సిమం 68 crores హిట్ చేశారు డ్యూరింగ్ ద ఇండియా పాకిస్తాన్ మ్యాచ్ ప్రీవియస్ T20 వరల్డ్ కప్ ఓకే that much of traffic is hit. Started from viewing 2 crores. They'll start from viewing. They start viewing the Geo Hotstar app will be there. Geo Hotstar app. So here, viewers or customers will watch the live telecast. It will start with 2 crores. Over the period of the time, it will grow, and it will be around 68 crores of people are watching the live stream.
Okay.
Then if this application which is deployed, because the users are growing, the application which is deployed, resource need to be grow. Okay, where the application is deployed, resources also more. What are the resources like? EC2, nothing but computer, RAM, processor, hard disk, all this need to grow.
Yes.
You need to have multiple EC2 instances or physical servers or computers to cope up the demand.
Yes.
With the demand.
Demand.
If the demand is increasing, the users are viewing, your demand is increasing, the resource also need to be increases. In physical data center, if the demand is increases, it is very difficult to predict the traffic. If you also suppose you have predicted the traffic, okay, we had already predicted the traffic, we had deployed the resources. But the problem is this traffic is not like stable. It is not stable traffic. It is not a stable traffic. Who told you that it is a stable traffic? Whole period they will watch 68 crores. It
No.
won't happen. So it will be up and down. It will be sudden spike. Or maybe very less people watching the stream or application. Okay. So what does auto scaling does whenever the demand is increases or users are requesting the application, more numbers of users are added, automatically resources will be scaled, means automatic resources will be increased. That is known as auto scaling. Auto scaling. So when the demand is decreased, automatically this EC2 instance will be automatically decreased. Mean that this according to the demand. If demand is high, more resources are allocated. If demand is less number of resources are allocated. Okay. So this is known as the auto scaling. Okay. So what does auto scaling do? It will automatically scale the resources to cope up the demand.
Demand.
Okay, that is known as what? Auto scaling. Okay, this is one of the most important feature. Auto scaling is what? Most important feature. So here, in an interview also, maybe 99% they will ask this: what is my auto scaling? AWS auto scaling. So they will ask the auto scaling how it works. Says one of the primary reasons company move to the cloud being facilitated to we can easily scale. Suppose if it is a physical data center, to scale the application it is very difficult because physical data center takes more time to add the more number of servers.
Hmm.
Whereas in cloud easily we can scale.
Yes.
In cloud we can scale.
Scale.
To understand the consumption of the resources, Amazon here see this. What is auto scaling? Auto scaling automatically adds the resources according to the demand. Here, auto scaling is a service that helps user to monitor applications and automatically adjust the capacity to maintain
Steady,
steady,
predictable
predictable
performance.
performance, lowest possible cost. Mean that so that how the lowest possible cost optimization can done. Suppose right now I am using 1000 EC2 instances. Auto scaling allocated 1000 EC2 instances. We need to pay
Okay.
1000 EC2 instances only. Once the
Hmm.
demand goes down, then what happened?
The,
Again only
the,
few 10 and 20 we need to pay for 10 and 20 EC2 instances are there. Okay,
yes.
so here
Yes.
cost optimization is there, and also when the demand is there, it will provide that fault tolerance and high availability. Mean that the application grows, user grows, automatically add the resources. Automatically add the resources.
Other resources.
Another thing is that if any one of the server goes down, the traffic will won't send by the auto scaling group. Traffic won't send by the auto scaling won't send to the traffic won't be sent to the particular server. Auto scaling group monitors the traffic. If any server having any issue, it won't send the traffic to the particular server. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So what are the benefits of the auto scaling are? One is the better fault tolerance. Mean that fault tolerance means what is mean that like a backup. Okay. What is the fault tolerance means? If one server
Backup.
having any issue, it will redirect to the traffic to other server. Okay.
Okay.
Another thing is high availability of the resources. High availability of resources where there are the auto scaling EC2 instances are deployed in the multiple availability zone.
Okay. Hmm.
These EC2 instances are deployed in the multiple availability zone. So the application will run on the multiple availability zone. If any issue is there in the single availability zone, then no problem. The application is running under our availability zone also. Okay.
Okay.
So another thing is the better cost management. What is better cost management? So when the demand is high, automatically the EC2 instances are allocated. When the demand is low, automatically all EC2 instances are removed. Very less number of EC2 instances are deployed. The cost will be automatically adjusted. You don't need to remove the EC2 instances. You don't need to remove the servers. Automatically it adjusts the EC2 servers. Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
So like that, they'll reduce the cost also.
Hmm.
When the demand is there, more number of resources are allocated. Where demand is less, very less number of demands are allocated. So what happens here? Because we don't use previously like 1000 servers, we use only 10 servers or 100 servers. Then automatically the price will be reduced. You don't need to remove the EC2 servers. Okay.
Okay.
So then high availability of the resource, high reliability of the resources, high reliability resources, high flexibility of the resources.
Resources.
We can integrate the auto scaling with the load balancer also. It is also we can integrate the auto scaling with the help of the load balancer also.
Okay. Hmm.
Load balancer also. Okay. Here another thing is there. This auto scaling are two types. Auto scaling are two types.
Two types.
One is the horizontal scaling, second one is the vertical scaling. Okay, horizontal scaling,
Virtual.
vertical.
Vertical scale. Hmm.
One is the horizontal scaling, second is the vertical scaling. Here, what is the horizontal scaling and what is the vertical scaling?
Hmm.
If you see this image, easily you can understand. horizontal scaling, when the demand is high, add the more instances. Add the,
Okay. More instances.
what does mean horizontal? Horizontal means like this, like, huh?
Hmm.
This is horizontal.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Okay.
here, this is the vertical. So if when the demand is more, it adds a more number of EC2 instances. It adds
Okay.
the,
More number of ASIC instances.
that is known as what?
Horizontal scaling.
Whereas vertical scaling is there. Suppose I have a one server I had deployed. The server is having 4 GB RAM and I have a i3 processor and a 500 GB disk is there. Then it is upgraded to 8 GB RAM. Then upgrade to 500 GB is upgraded to 1 TB. That is called as what? Existing infrastructure we are going to upgrade is known as what? Vertical
Vertical
scaling.
scaling.
We are going to increase the RAM, CPU. This, that is known as what? Vertical scaling.
Vertical scaling.
Generally, front-end application will use horizontal scaling. Front-end web server use which one? Horizontal
Vertical.
scaling.
Horizontal scaling.
Whereas the back-end database will use the vertical scaling. Understand?
Okay.
Database use the which scaling? Back-end
Vertical
is the
scaling.
vertical scaling. Whereas front-end application web server use the horizontal scaling.
Horizontal scaling.
So horizontal scaling is nothing but add the more number of instances.
More number of instances upon demand.
So vertical scaling means existing infrastructure is upgraded. Existing infrastructure is upgraded.
Upgraded.
Is known as the vertical scaling. Okay. So that is the two types of scaling are there. One is horizontal scaling and second one is the vertical scaling.
Vertical scaling.
Vertical scaling. Okay. Another thing is there here to create a lab or to do the lab here, to do the auto scaling lab, first we need to know by what is meant by launch template. That to do the auto scaling, we need to know the launch template. We need to know the what?
Launch template.
So what is template? Template is nothing but a predefined configuration. You predefined already. Okay? What is template?
Okay.
Template is like
Predefined.
predefined configuration. Already it is mentioned. Suppose when you go for the bank, I want to withdraw the money, they will give the withdrawal form. Okay? In the withdrawal form, this application is a template. Is a template, isn't it? Is a template.
Okay.
Application is a template. So what is application? Application already they mentioned the account name, date, name, signature, all these things all they are mentioned. They created a template. You need to fill the your name, account number, date and signature and denomination only. If they don't give the if they don't give the application, then what happen? You need to write down your own yourself in a lab paper. You need to mention all these things, your name, your account name, all these things. It may be not it may be not the same pattern. It is very difficult to understand the banker. Understand or not?
Yes.
Application is like a template. Application is a template. Same thing when you creating the resource, when you create to EC2 instances, when you want to create EC2 instances, what are the things we need? Like certain parameters, like what is the type of instance and type of AMI and the type of key, security group, all these things you're going to mention in the template. You're going to mention in the template.
Template.
Every time you don't need to pick this all this stuff manually. Okay. So I already mentioned in the template. From the template, I'm going to create a EC2.
Okay.
Understand? Suppose I want to create a like 1000 EC2 instances I need to create, where I need to have same type of configuration. So every time I need to go, I don't want to add this. I don't want to create manually instead of 1000 instances. In that, I will add all the things like EC2 instances, EMI, even application code also. Application code also added in the which one? Template. From the template, we can easily create a EC2 instances. EC2 instance.
Yes,
Why you are going to learning about the EC2 this launch template? Because from 2023, like last 1.5 year back, so last from 1.5 year back, what they decided that to create a auto scaling group, to create auto scaling, it is mandatory to create a launch template. Okay.
Okay.
Without launch template, we can't create the auto scaling. In the previous, like in 2023, 22, 21, 20, like olden days, like if you go back 4 5 years back or 3 even 2 years back also, they had an option that how to create auto scaling. To create auto scaling, first we need to create a AMI.
Okay.
Amazon machine custom AMI you need to create.
Mm.
Golden AMI you need to create.
Okay.
First we need to create a golden AMI or custom AMI. Then from the AMI we need to create the launch template, and we need to deploy the auto scaling group. Okay. So first we need to create AMI in the previous console. So recently they
Okay.
had changed, like in 2024 this January onwards, January 1st on, they had changed that with the AMI you won't able to create in the new console. The old console there is option is there. So you have a old console.
Mm.
Suppose I have a account is there in 2020, even I had opened my account AWS account 2020. Then is option is there from the AMI you can create. From new console, and AWS also suggests that it is mandated to create auto scaling with the help of the launch template only. Understand?
Okay. Mm.
Here what is my launch template? See this, what is my launch template? A launch template is a similar to the launch configuration. Is that specified that it includes what does template contains? Template contains AMI. What is that? AMI,
Yeah.
instance type, key pair, security
Security.
group, and other parameters.
Mm. Parameters.
What are the parameters needed to launch the EC2 instance? All parameters are already pre-configured. Understood?
Mm.
Already pre-configured.
Reconfigure.
So that is known as the template.
Template. Mm.
Even from the template, suppose I want to change. Suppose when I am choosing the template, I have chosen an instance type as a T2 micro. Okay.
Mm.
Then again I changed modified the template. Again I
Okay.
modified the template, and the modified the template means I had made changes to security group. I added another security port, another port number. Okay. So then that is modified. That is called version 2. Because I created a template first time, then I modified the template. I added, like I had upgraded a T2 micro to the T3 micro. Okay. Then what
Okay.
happens? I had modified the template. This template become version 2.
Mm.
So you can use versions also here. You can use
Versions also.
in that launch template. You can use the versions also. You can use the
Versions also.
okay. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
First I am going to log into the practical. I'm going to log into the AWS console. First we need to create launch template. For that, launch template. First we need to create what? Launch
Launch
template.
template.
I show you how to create a launch template. Okay.
Okay.
After creating the launch template, we're going to create a auto scaling. We're going to create a auto scaling.
Autoscaling.
Another thing is there, auto scaling group monitor the health traffic. Mean that if any one of the instance go down, okay, any one of the instance go down, automatically the EC2 instance will be terminated, or after termination it automatically add another instance. Suppose I have 4 instances are running. Understood? If any EC2 instance having health issue, okay.
Okay. Mm.
So then what auto scaling do? It will create another instance. In the place of the unhealthy instance, it terminates and it creates the new instance.
Okay. Mm.
Understand? Even if you accidentally deleted also, automatically create the EC2 instance. Okay.
Okay.
If any one of the instance goes down, automatically it create the new instance in the place of the old instance. Okay.
Okay. Mm.
Even if you delete the instance intentionally, that time also it will create the new instance, new EC2.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Mm.
If the demand is high, so we will add the, suppose I just tell the auto scaling group to create 8 instances. How many instances? 8 instances.
8 instances.
when the demand grows, application demand is high, automatically 8 instances will be created. Automatically 8 instances will be created. Understood?
Okay.
And also we can integrate the load balancer also between these 8 instances. Okay? Even
Okay.
we can do the health check also. We do the health check also.
I'll check.
Okay. Here, first to create the launch template, to start with the practical here. To create autoscaling group, first we need to create autoscaling group. First we need to create what? Launch template.
Launch template.
I am in the North Virginia data center. See this. So in here having a what? Launch template. Click on the launch template. Okay. So here use launch template to automate instance. You can automate your instance. You can automate your
Instance.
simplify permission policy, enforce best practices across the organization. You can save your parameters. What are the parameters? Instance ID, EMI ID, security group, security group, your key, security key. All these are the parameters. All these parameters are saved in the template. Okay. So from the template we're going to launch by using the template you can launch the EC2 instance.
Instance.
Here to create a launch template, go to the EC2. Under the EC2 we have an option called launch template.
Launch template.
Click on the create launch template. Okay. Give the name as any name. It may be any name, like I am creating the launch template for Infosys system. Okay. Yesterday you had practiced that one. You got
Yes,
your
sir.
output.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for prod app, here I am giving the name Infosys
Infosys.
and template version description. Anything you can do. I am just giving the prod app. Okay, not mandatory that one. From this one, I need to choose the parameters. Suppose your EMI is there, we can include your EMI also. Okay.
Okay.
Here I need to create a launch template. If suppose your EMI is there, custom EMI, that can also you can use, no problem.
Okay.
So here, I want to choose the quick start. What is that? Quick start.
Quick start.
In the quick start, I want to create a Amazon EC2 instance.
Amazon EC2 instance.
So click on the Amazon Linux. Click on the
Amazon.
I want to create the Amazon EC2 instance. In this one, I selected Amazon Linux 2023. I selected 64 architecture. Here instance type will choose here. I'll select the instance type as a T2 micro. That T2 micro. Understand? So why? Because these are in the free type and less price. I selected T2 micro. You can choose anything. So here key pair also, you want to create a new key pair, you can create a new key pair. New key pair. I don't want to create a new key pair. I use the old key pair.
Old key pair.
Suppose you want to use the subnet. I had not explained any regarding the VPC and subnet. Suppose any availability zone. You can choose the availability zone also.
Okay.
Suppose you can create a new security group, or else you can add the new. You can create a new security group. You can choose the existing security group.
Security group.
So I just take here the old security group. Security group. So I just selected what? Old security group. Suppose here how to create security group? Already explained you. Go to the EC2 instance.
Security
group. Here, go to the instance. We have a security group. Here, create a security group. Add the rules here. Because we are deploying the web application, we need to add SSH. Anywhere before. Add rule. Again having HTTP, having HTTP. Okay.
Linear.
Again HTTPS.
Hmm.
Because we are deploying the
Probably.
HTTPS. Right?
Hmm.
So then anyway. Hmm?
Hmm.
Then after that, create a security
Secret
group.
type.
Give the name, any name. Like I want to give the name as Durga SCG. Durga SCG.
Hmm.
Okay. So here
Hmm.
creating the application for production. Huh?
Hmm.
So then here create a security group. Create a.
Security group.
So I created a security group. Added the inbound rules. Added the inbound rules. SSH and HTTP,
Hmm.
HTTPS. So then how will you go into the create the launch template? Okay. Same thing
Hmm.
because I skipped that one. Huh? So
Okay.
create launch template. Give the name as a Infosys app. Huh? So then Infosys prod, Infosys prod.
Product.
For production, I'm creating the template. I'm selecting on the quick start. Click on the
Hmm.
quick start. Selected Amazon Linux. Selected the Amazon Linux
Amazon Linux.
and include the instance type. Include the instance type as
No, sir.
T2 micro
AWS.
and add the key pair. Add the
Key
key
pair.
pair. Old key pair I'm again.
Hmm.
So then in network setting, existing security group. I just now created a security group that is a Durga. That is
Hmm.
the Durga security
Durga.
group.
Hmm.
Durga naida
Aదే sir.
G valada. Okay. Suppose they want to add the application code, you can add the application code here also.
Hmm.
You can add the
Application.
application code also.
Yeah.
I just have application code. Go to the. I'll add the script. Hmm?
Hmm.
Paste it. Create launch template. Create a launch template.
Last.
So now created launch template. Okay.
Hmm.
The launch template now created is the what? Version 1. Right?
First one. Hmm.
Suppose if you modify, it will become version 2. So here we can modify the what?
Okay.
Where
The
we
temp.
can modify the
Hmm.
parameters. These parameters we can change.
Okay. Okay.
The new template will be created. Two versions will be the same template having a two templates.
Oh, two
So you can,
versions.
new version. Okay. So now
Hmm.
created a template. From the template, we're going to create auto scaling group. Create a auto scaling group.
Spectrum.
Okay.
Hmm.
So from the what is mandatory to create a launch template to create a auto scaling group, auto scaling. So I
Hmm.
created a launch template right now. So before launching the auto scaling, we create EC2 instance. I told you that from the template we can create the EC2 instance, isn't
Hmm.
it?
Yes, yes.
So here right click here, where option is there, launch instance from the.
Template.
So when you select the launch instance template, automatically it will be populated. I don't need to select all these things. See this,
Hmm.
isn't it? See this key, everything is
Automatically
automatically
populated.
populated. Everything is taken. I didn't add
Hmm.
anything.
Hmm.
Automatically added. See this, automatically added. Template will added automatically.
Okay. Hmm.
With the single step, you can create EC2 instance. Just a single step. Right click here, launch
Hmm.
instance from the template, and
Hmm.
click on the launch template. Click
Launch
on the
instance. Launch instance.
launch template, launch instance. So with a single step, on a single step, you can create the launch instance, EC2
Hmm.
instance. Here, see this. Go to the EC2 instances. Click on the EC2 instance. So now created. Understand?
Hmm.
So the thing here is the lab is not to create the EC2 instance from the EC2 instance from the launch template. Here we're going to do the auto scaling. Okay, that is a launch
Hmm.
template. This is launch template and a launch template. Okay, from the launch
Hmm.
template I launched the EC2 instance. Now we go
Hmm.
into the auto scaling. Now go to the auto scaling.
Understand.
Auto scaling can be launched here under the EC2 instance. Last option is there.
Hmm.
Auto scaling group. Okay. There
Okay.
auto scaling group at last is there, option is there. In the left bottom last option is the auto scaling group. Go to the create auto scaling group and we need to give the auto scaling group name. Auto scaling group name, and we include
Hmm.
the template. Understand?
Okay. Hmm.
Or else directly you can create from the launch template. Understood? Directly we
Hmm.
can create. Use the launch template to create auto scaling. Right click here. You have option is there. What is the option here? Create a
Autoscaling group.
click on the create auto scaling group. I am giving the name. You can give any name. You can give any name. Okay. The template automatic selected. Here, if we have a VPC is there, VPC concept is next tomorrow's class. VPC concept. I have not explained any VPC. Right now, I don't want to select the VPC. I'll select the default VPC. I'll select the
Default VPC.
default VPC. And scaling need to done in which availability zone? Scaling, how the scaling will done? I told you that I already provided the fault tolerance. What the fault tolerance is there? If any one of the availability zone goes down, there are other availability zone is there.
Mm-hmm.
So how will you provide the fault tolerance? By selecting, by applying the scale the instances in the multiple availability zone.
Hmm.
Scaling the instances in a.
Multiple availability zones.
So if you deploy in the single availability zone, then what happens if the availability zone goes down, the application also goes down.
Yes.
To avoid the problem, we'll add the auto scaling group in the multi availability zone. Okay, it will deploy the instances in, it will deploy the availability, multiple availability zone. Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
There are two here. One is the balanced best of two options are there. One is the balanced best effort and balanced only. Okay. What does mean balanced best effort? If launch fails, if EC2 instance, if it is trying to auto scaling is trying to launch the EC2 instance in one availability zone, auto scaling will attempt to launch in another availability zone. Generally, what happens? Auto scale will launch the EC2 instance, isn't it?
Hmm.
It will launch the EC2 instance. If the EC2 instance fails in one availability zone, it will go for the other availability zone. It will create in the other availability zone. Okay. So whereas in balanced mode, if launch fails in the availability zone, again it will create the
In the
instance
same
in
availability
unhealthy
zone.
zone, unhealthy availability zone. If
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy availability zone also there, still it try to create in the unhealthy availability zone.
Mm-hmm.
Still it try to create in the unhealthy availability zone. That is the balanced one. We're going to select which one? Balanced best effort. Here, there are three options are there. Whether you want to attach the load balancer, whether you want to attach the load balancer, or you have already having existing load balancer, or I want to attach to the node load balancer. You can choose these three options, any one. Okay.
Okay.
So auto scaling group is integrated with the load balancer. Integrated with the load balancer.
Load
So you are
balancer.
already created load balancer. You can attach here load balancer. Understand? Okay.
Okay.
Or else I don't want to include the load balancer. Just leave this one. Okay. Or else I want to create a new load balancer right now. I want to create a new load balancer. I select which one? I'll select which one? Attached.
Third option, attach new load balancer.
So what are the two types of popular load balancer there? One is the application load
Application
balancer.
load balancer and a
Second one is
network
the network
load balancer.
application load balancer the application. Like it works on the HTTP and HTTPS. Whereas network load balancer works
On
on
the
the
IP address.
IP address.
IP
I just
address.
selected application load balancer. Okay. So you can choose network load balancer, no issue. So now the load balance is internal or external? Internal means within the data center. I need to load balance. Okay. In generally the web server traffic from the outside, from the internet. So we need to select which one? Internet
Internet facing.
Internet facing.
Facing.
Okay. Here, when you select the application load balance, automatically will select the which protocol? HTTP.
HTTP.
And we need to create and select the target group. Click on here target group. The target group will be automatically created. Okay, you don't need to create target group. It is automatically created, automatically populated. Okay.
Okay.
There are two services are there. No VPC lattice service and VPC lattice service. Here VPC had not explained. VPC stand for virtual private cloud. Virtual private cloud.
Private.
Virtual private cloud. Here VPC lattice will not manage your autoscaling group network access and connectivity to other service. Which one? VPC lattice service. And we attach to VPC lattice service incoming requests associated with the target group will route to the autoscaling group. Present now, I have not any attaching doing anything. I just leave you here. Okay. Here I have a application recovery controller there to you can want to shift the zonal. These all new options are there. New instances launches will be retargeted toward the healthy availability zone until the zone is cancelled. Until zone shift is cancelled. Okay. I don't want to select this option. Another thing is I want to check the health checks. Previously I told you that healthy target, unhealthy target, unhealthy time, interval time. Previously I discussed in the load balancer. So it checks for 5 times for a healthy target. It checks for 2 times for unhealthy target. It checks for every second for unhealthy target. It checks for 30 seconds for unhealthy target. Okay?
Okay.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
I just leave it in all this thing. Here most important thing is the we need to define the auto scaling number. Auto scaling number mean that when you create a auto scaling group, the points need to be considered. One is the desired capacity, second one is the minimum capacity, and third one is the maximum desired capacity. Maximum desired capacity. Okay. So what is the group size? Group size, initial size of the auto scaling group. After creating group, we need to size to the demand. According to demand, we need to create the group. According to demand, we need to create the capacity. Suppose the minimum capacity is 1. What is that? Minimum capacity is 1. Minimum capacity is 1. Here, see, minimum capacity is done. Here always suppose I had chosen that application to run at least minimum 2 servers. At least
2 servers.
So that is called as a desired capacity. I need to run 2 servers at any cost. Normal traffic. Then I will put here desired capacity is 2. And if minimum capacity is 1, and always remember that minimum capacity EC2 instance, it should be greater than the desired capacity should be greater than the minimum capacity. Desired capacity should be greater than equal to minimum capacity. Okay.
Okay.
And maximum capacity we are predicting that it will like 10 servers we need. So that is the maximum capacity. That is the
maximum capacity.
So here I'll just put here desired capacity as 2, okay, and minimum capacity is 1, and desired capacity as 4. Desired capacity as 4. Okay.
4.
When the maximum load is increases, then how many instances will be created? 4.
4.
So basically when you launch the auto scaling, how many will be created? 2.
2.
Even very less demand, it will become 1.
1.
Okay. So here, what is scaling? Here, how the scale? If you want to scale the EC2 instance, there will be some technical aspect how they created, how the scaling will be created, how the EC2 instance will be created. There will be some reason will be there. Okay. So that is called as a tracking scaling policy. Target scaling policy. Target scaling policy. Okay. Here, when you select the no scaling policy, your auto scaling group remain its initial size. It not dynamically resize the demand. So what is the desired capacity 2? If it won't predict the demand and it won't create the new EC2 instance. Which one? No scaling policy.
Okay.
So when you select the target tracking policy, choose a target value. Let the scaling policy adjust the desired capacity proportional to the metric value. Whatever the metric value you are given, whenever the metric value is there, automatically scaling will be done. dynamically scaling will be done. So what are the metrics? Metrics are nothing but suppose my computer is there, my local computer is there. I just type task manager. Task manager.
Mm.
What are the factors that affecting your computer performance is known as the metrics. What are the factors
That are affecting your computer
so
performance.
this is known as the metrics. Here metrics. What I type here? Task manager.
Mm.
There is everyone know.
Yes.
Task manager. You see this how much CPU percentage right now? This is not a cloud computer. This is my host
No.
computer.
Mm.
What is the CPU percentage here? 25% right now. Around.
Mm.
This is the RAM usage.
Mm.
This is the hard disk usage. This is the
Mm.
network usage. This is the graphic card usage.
Mm.
Understood?
Mm.
These are the metrics. If you choose the metric CPU, when the CPU percentage is more than 50%, Autoscaling group need to create a new EC2 instance. Understand?
Okay. Uh-huh.
When the CPU load is more than 50%, I tell the Autoscaling group to create a new EC2 instance.
Okay. Mm.
It will
Okay.
automatically create when the CPU load is more than 50%, it will create a new one. Or
Mm.
extra, the demand increases, I can add the extra number of EC2 instances. Understood?
Okay. Understood. Mm.
Here, see here, in target tracking policy, what are the things are there? Average CPU utilization and average network input and output, how much input and output traffic. There is a load balancer request also there. Yesterday we had a practice at the load balancer. In previous video you can check. So here load balancer, if the number of requesting coming to the load balancer increase, that can also we can take an action. So but number
Okay.
of requesters, when you click the load balancer having request come to the target group, then
Mm.
if the more number of load balancer are there, requests are there, then the new EC2 instance will be created. We choose this one. We choose this one. Okay?
Okay.
I choose here average CPU utilization. In generally, you need to choose the CPU utilization more than 50% only. In real time,
Mm.
they will choose the more than 50%. More than
50%.
50%. I just choose here 5% only. What is that? 5%. To do the lab
5%.
early, because we don't need to wait that much of time. How will you put the artificial load on the particular system, EC2? It will be difficult to put the artificial load. Generally,
Mm.
however, we are going to use the simulated load. So we will use load also. Okay?
Mm.
We'll put
Mm.
the artificial load also on the EC2 instance to create a new
Okay.
instances. Here I
Okay.
put a target value. How much CPU percentage is? 5%.
5%. Mm.
There are multiple options are there. One is the no policy, second one is the launch before terminating, third one is the terminate and launch, and fourth one is the custom behavior. In the no policy, for rebalancing event, new instances will be launched before the terminating.
Okay. Okay. Mm.
New instances will launch.
Before terminating others.
Okay. So whereas the launch before terminating means launch new instance, wait for them, ready
To be
for
ready.
terminating the others.
Okay. Mm.
This allows to go to the above your desired capacity given percentage and may temporarily increase the cost. Okay.
Okay. Mm.
Next thing is terminate and launch.
Mm.
First it will terminate.
Mm.
First it will terminate. EC2 instance will be, whatever the issue is there, suppose heavy load is hitting a particular server. That server will be terminate, then launch.
Okay. Mm.
Before terminate it will launch. There are multiple options are there. Launch before terminating.
Mm.
Another thing is custom behavior we can customize. Means when want to create this, when the health percentage is in between, how many instances are there, the percentage we can choose. Use the custom behavior. Okay. Presently I don't select this one, I select no policy.
No
Select
policy.
no
No
policy.
policy.
Here instance scale in production, to protect scale is enabled, newly instance will be protected from the scale default.
Mm.
So suppose I want to attach this monitoring, I need to do the monitoring. What does mean monitoring? Whenever the EC2 instance is a new one, is Autoscaling creates a new EC2 instance, we need to get a notification. This your EC2 instance is terminated, EC2 instance created. We need to get notification, means monitoring what is going in the Autoscaling. By using the CloudWatch we can monitor. Okay. So
Okay.
we are not studying the CloudWatch service. We are going to in future we are going to study the CloudWatch. CloudWatch is a monitoring service. So when you enable the CloudWatch service, it will monitor the things. We're going to monitor everything. Okay?
Okay.
How the auto-scaling behaves, when is instance is launched, when is the instance to terminate, all these things we can get the log message and a notification. Okay? So right now I don't want all this thing, I don't want to select all this thing. I just select next year, select next year, select next year, and click on the create auto-scaling.
Good Autoscaling.
Okay?
Okay.
So now what does auto-scaling group do? Auto-scaling group do, so it will create a desired capacity of how much?
2 instances.
2 instances. And maximum capacity of 4 instances.
4.
It will create a at minimum 2 desired capacity of 2. Go to this one. Go to the auto-scaling group. Here, click on the monitoring here. I don't want to select the monitoring. Just remove it.
Instance mode.
Wait.
Mm.
So here, go to the EC2 instances. How many instances has created here? 2 instances. How many created? 2 instances. That is the desired capacity. This is the
Desired capacity.
here I am going to click here and edit and give the name as a server 1. And again click here. Server 2. Okay. So okay, how many instances are created? 2 instances. When you delete the instance, what happens? Again new one will be created.
Yes.
Again, if any one of the instance health goes down, then automatically auto-scaling group will be created. Automatically another instance.
Another
Check
instance.
here, we're going to delete what happens. So okay, there is a time is there, time limits like 300 seconds. Within the 300 seconds, it will terminated. Again, new one will be created. New one will be created.
Created.
Check what happens. See what happened?
A new one is created.
So mean that it do the health monitoring also. Health monitoring also.
Monitoring also.
Automatically, when any issue is there, if the accidentally or intentionally or anything application having a very heavy load, experience very load, it will automatically create a
New instance.
So another thing is there. So now in place of old instance deleted, a new instance will be created. Now we're going to do another thing is there. Again we're going to put the load. Okay. When you put the load on the instances, it will need to create how many instances? 4 instances.
4 instances.
So we're going to log into the instance. Okay. Go to the connect here. Go to the SSH client. Copy the key pair, and go to the download. Go to the download. Right click here. Open git bash. Paste. Enter. Okay. Next yes. Done. So now log into the root. Log into the root. And we're going to update. How will you update? M update. If it is Ubuntu, then apt update. So
Yes.
now updated. Done. Then we're going to run the simulated load test. Load. We'll put the load on the EC2 instance. We're going to create artificial load. Okay. So that is known as the stress. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, what does mean stress here? Stress is a command line utility tool. It is a
Mm.
command line utility tool designed to
Mm.
assess the performance and reliability of the hardware, simulating the high load, simulating the
High load.
high load environment. Okay,
Okay. Mm.
how are you going to install? Suppose I am using here the Amazon Linux, we need to select this one. Suppose if you use the Ubuntu Linux, we need to choose this one. Okay, I am right
Okay.
now I am using the Amazon Linux, then we select which one? Sudo dnf install stress. Sudo dnf install stress -5. Got it? So now what happened? Stress is, hello,
Ah, sir.
stress is installed.
Mm.
Okay. So now
Okay.
how are we going to stress here? To stress on the command, okay, to stress on the hard disk, we need to have a -d. Okay.
Okay. Mm.
To stress on the CPU, we need to use a -c.
-C.
To
Mm.
stress on memory, we need to use -v.
-C.
To stress on input and output, we need to use IO. Input and output, we need to IO. To stress
Mm.
on how much time I want to put the stress here? -d.
550. Mm.
ఒక్క నిమిషం 5 minutes వస్తుంది. Okay, time -t,
Mm.
-t. So here how much time you need to stress? Okay, in which resource we need to stress? Whether is a hard disk, whether CPU or a RAM or a input and output devices. Understand?
Mm. Mm.
Here I will just select because I am stressing. I am target policy. Which one I selected? Which one I selected?
CP.
Input utilization. Now I selected -c. What is the
Mm.
command here? Here stress C. I want to push stress and where? CPU.
CP. Mm.
And time. Time is 10 seconds.
Mm.
Understand? We need to
Okay.
run this command on the EC2 instance. EC2 instance.
Instance.
I'll make
Mm.
it as a stress as a want to run the stress for 120 second, 120 second,
Second. Mm.
and I will make it as a full stress like 300 because we don't have a time. We don't need to wait so much of time to put the stress. I just
Mhm.
run this one. When you put the stress on particular instance, okay, it will generate artificial load on the particular EC2 instances. Okay, so then what happens? What happens?
New
Automatically
instance
create
will
the
come.
EC2
Mm.
instance in the background.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay. Mm.
let me wait and go to the instances. Go to the EC2 instances. ఏమేమి చూడండి ఇక్కడ ఒకసారి చూడండి బ్యాక్ ఫ్రంట్లో ఏమేమి ఏమే
ఇంకో mm.
మొత్తం
ఇంకో
4
2
అయ్యా 1
instance.
2 3 4 అయ్యా లేదా?
అవునండి. Mm.
సో ఏం చేసింది అది డిమాండ్
ఇంకో
పరంగా ఏమైంది? లోడ్ పెరిగింది కదా అండి ఇక్కడ లోడ్. దిస్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఎ రియల్ టైమ్ అప్లికేషన్. జనరల్లీ పీపుల్ విల్ పుట్ ద లోడ్ లైక్ దే విల్ యాక్సెస్ ద వెబ్ అప్లికేషన్, బట్ వీఆర్ క్రియేటింగ్ ద ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ లోడ్.
mm.
నౌ వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్ హియర్?
Another 2 instances are created.
So mean that what does Lotus cooling do? Add the instances when the
Instances
load is
upon
high.
deployment. Mm.
అర్థమైందా?
అర్థమైంది సార్. అర్థమైంది.
So that is the thing. That is the skin. Here go
Okay.
to the auto scaling group. You can check multiple things are there. Go to the auto scaling group. You can check here. Policies are there.
Mm.
There are policies are there. You can change the policy also here. You can change the.
Policy also. Mm.
So you want to change, you can change the policy. మన ఇచ్చిన ఆప్షన్స్ ఇవన్నీ కూడా.
Okay. Mm. Okay. Mm.
You can put the schedule action also. Suppose I am
Okay.
predicting that at afternoon 12 to 12:30 I have a iPhone 16 Pro Max
Sale
sale
is
is there in Flipkart. So
Mm.
we have a that 12 to 12:30 only. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
So we'll put schedule. Put schedule here. We'll put schedule here. Understand?
Okay. Understood.
So
Understood.
because 12 and 12:30 I had announced that there will be sale for the Apple 16 Pro Max. Okay.
Mm.
So then most of the people hit the web application of the Flipkart or Amazon.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that is the time we are already selected a time that is having a highest traffic. That time need to be created. Instances will be created. So then we'll add the schedule action. It automatically created. Understood?
Understood.
This is
Okay.
activity. What is going on? Activity shows that whenever I click on this, whenever create a auto scaling group, first it created new EC2 instance, again created new instance. Now here termination, the activity, what is going on? Added a new instance. See this activity.
Mm.
Activity.
Okay.
Even you create a notification also. I have not explained this notification. We can add the email or SMS that we will get a email or SMS. If instance is terminated, issue to instance deleted, or instance added. SNS is known as the simple notification. We can add the notification also. Activity notification also you can get the email also. What happened to your autoscaling? Okay.
Okay.
Here monitoring, I have not enabled any monitoring. I
Mhm.
have not enabled monitoring. So that is the autoscaling group. That is the autoscaling group.
Autoscaling.
Here to create if you delete the EC2 instance, 4 EC2 instance, again 4 will be created. Okay. So what happens? First we need to delete the EC autoscaling group and the target group. Then only we can able to delete the EC2 instance. If you won't delete the autoscaling group, it will create again.
Yes.
Understand? First we'll go to the autoscaling group. Okay, it takes time to delete. Select here actions, click on the delete. Click on the delete. So now we delete. So this autoscaling and load balancer is very, very important. So in interview purpose, 99% they will ask the question from expect what is application load balancer, what is network load balancer, what is horizontal scaling, what is vertical scaling. So which algorithm used in auto scaling, round robin link. They don't ask much like what is round robin link. So which algorithm you use generally. They will ask like questions maybe. So this is most important. Auto scaling group and load balancer most important. Okay.
Okay.
So now it will take some time to delete the auto scaling group. Okay. So once it is deleted, automatically the instances will be deleted. Once the auto scaling group is deleted, then automatically instance will be deleted. Here the load balancer is there. So we created the load balancer also. We are not created a load balancer. Automatically. Suppose if you are already there, we can delete. Automatic. If you are already there, we can attach. So any doubts, students class?
Yes, sir.
Clear.
Practice.
Practice only. You can practice and easily you can do. Not a big issue at all. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So one thing is there. Practice is the main thing. Definitely jobs is there. So the recession is there. I am not denying that. Like previous గా ఉన్నంతగా జాబ్స్ ఉన్నాయంటలేదు, బట్ డెఫినెట్లీ లేవని మాత్రం కాదు, జీరో మాత్రం కాదండి, జీరో మాత్రం కానే కాదు. ఓకే. సో జాబ్స్ లేకుండా పోవడం మాత్రం అసలు అది చాలా తప్పదు. చాలామంది అసలు ఏమి లేదు సార్ అని మాత్రం చాలా చాలా తప్పు ఉన్నాయి, లేదని కాదు. సో నేను కంప్లీట్గా డినై చేయట్లేదు, బట్ సో స్కిల్స్ ఎక్కువ ఉండాలి ఇప్పుడున్న పరిస్థితుల్లో. ఒక 15% 10% తగ్గుతుంది అంతే. అంతేగాని ఓవరాల్గా ఇప్పుడు సపోజ్ ఇఫ్ ప్రీవియస్లీ లైక్ ఇన్ ద ఫుల్ డిమాండ్ అని సపోజ్ యూ హ్యావ్ 1 lakh జాబ్స్ ఆర్ దేర్. సో రైట్ నౌ 80,000 జాబ్స్, నాట్ మచ్, 85,000. సో జస్ట్ ఇంక్రీజ్ 15% ఓన్లీ. ఓకే. నాట్ లైక్ టోటల్గా 1 lakh నాట్ బికమ్ 0 ఆర్ 1 lakh నాట్ బికమ్ 10,000 or 20,000. ఓకే. So that is a thing. So cloud is mandatory for everything. Like if you as a Java developer also, they will ask this now. You are working on the AWS environment, you need to work on the. Generally Java projects built on the AWS. I told you yesterday also. Because of open source. Because of the
open source.
Okay. So that is the thing. Try to learn this and try to do the practice. First we need to create a launch template. Then to create a what? Autoscaling. Anyhow, I send you the video also for you. I send you the video also for you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Tomorrow I'll see you.